First question for you. Toughest SEC wideout to cover?
This past year, I would say Luther Burden, but over time, I would definitely say Wandale Robinson. He went to Kentucky as well.
All right, worst SEC facilities, and why is it Vanderbilt?
Oh, what are you going to say? We practiced there a couple years ago. That's some pretty nice facilities.
Okay. So we're seeing a lot more compressed formations in the NFL. The 49ers particularly kind of used it where their wideouts are only about 20 yards apart at the line of scrimmage. What does that mean for you as a corner when you see guys that normally out spread wide kind of tucked in there? How do you adjust?
For a corner, it goes off more your alignment. So most teams they get in tight because it's hard to get off press when you're in that tight. So you have to play off, and some receivers that's their strength. So some guys use it for a strength to get off, so you don't have to press to get off of that.
All right. So when you see a guy taking a motion behind the line of scrimmage, what are you thinking? What goes through your mind? What are you trying not to show that offense?
You gotta get on your tail. And most times, if you're a man, they go in that motion. You gotta beat them across, and because they're really trying to find out if you're a man or zone the whole time. So you gotta get on it and make sure you can beat them out so you don't get out leveraged.
Any interview questions take you by surprise this week?
No,
nothing weird.
I've met with almost every team, but with my what do they call those? The formal interviews, I've met with the 49ers, Tampa Bay, and Philadelphia. Do I have any formal? An informal? Yes.
Speaking of Tampa Bay, I know you're on the defensive side of the ball, obviously you have this coordinator, now moving on to offensive coordinator for Tampa Bay. Can you just talk a little bit about Liam Cohen, what you think of him?
Well, I think the world of Liam. Coach Cohen, when I was at Kentucky, and when I was there the first time and the second time, he's been a great guy to have in the building. I mean, he knows what he's talking about when it comes to football, and I think Tampa Bay got a good one for sure.
You said you had a formal with Tampa Bay. Did you meet with Tom Bowles? And so what did you talk to Bowles about? Obviously, him being
He wasn't in there. It was everyone else. But it was really cool going in there and just be able to talk ball with them and pull up a lot of my plays, my strengths and weaknesses and whatnot. Just talk ball and pick each other's brains.
What were some of the areas of opportunity that were highlighted?
I feel like for my play style, I can bring to their defense is a lot of versatility, and how I can be explosive, bring an extra kick to a defense.
Can you expand on that versatility part, because these teams they all want you guys to do, cornerbacks especially, a lot of different things. Can you talk about what you might bring to the table there?
Yeah, definitely. So it's just corner. I can play both corners as well as a nickel spot and both safeties if I need to. But it brings something like a positionless football. So I know a lot of teams nowadays, they're looking for not just one guy that can just play a corner, but so I can play all five, and I can bring that. And it makes the defense a lot more confusing to be able to study and look at.
So you can play safety.
I can, yes, sir.
You can go up. Can you come down in the box as a safety, or
I play in the box a little bit this year, certain games, whatnot. I just know my ability and what I can do. That's one thing.
Dru, some Kentucky fans were surprised. When did you realize this was a real possibility?
It's going through the year, and I had a good year. And for me, I feel like I was ready definitely to come out. It was my time coming here and compete. And I knew I'd do a good job. So leaving school was a decision that came between me, my family, and my coaches, and that's the reason why I did that decision.
Did Carrington Valentine's success, did that kind of show you a kind of pathway to be able to have success right away?
Definitely. Seeing him come in the league, especially his year one, go out there and do a lot of things that he's always talked about he was going to go do. And we were in the same room for 3 years together, so definitely seeing that was a lot of confidence in me to go out there and do it as well.
Dru, if you could detail one or two plays from college and also NFL teams like this is being
What plays would that be?
The best plays from college.
Oh, definitely. I give one play from Florida at the end of this year, Florida. I had a big hit right before on a third down to go off the field at the end of the game. It was a big hit on the running back ETN. And then another play I would say from this past year would be I'll say Vanderbilt when my linebacker D-Jack, he caught a pick, and I was there for the opportunity to help the team out and get extra yards on a return and just help out and get a win in any way. I would say that's another play as well.
Is there something, second straight year we got a cornerback coming out. What is it about Chris Collins and that UK cornerback room that's got you all on the path to the NFL?
Coach Collins knows what he's doing, man. I just know, being around him for 3 years, and he's impressive. He knows what he's talking about, and at the same time, he's a great teacher within the game. So each year he's prepared me more and more to even get to this stage, and even some trickle down to the young guys. And he's bringing a good culture to Kentucky in that DB room.
Drew, some fans have complained about the defensive style in Kentucky, maybe the soft zone. How does that prepare you for the NFL? How do you feel like it showcased your skills, or did it?
You can say soft zone, but it's a difficult zone as well. I mean, Coach White, it's not just one zone. We run everything into like a very high level. So it may look like something, but it's really not. So coming from that to the NFL and how technical and difficult that scheme was, it's going to translate very well.
Who do you try to model your game after somebody in the NFL?
Yeah, definitely. There's a couple guys. So when I watch film when I watch NFL, they don't really have an NFL team that I like, but I always watch like a Kenny Moore play or a Trent McDuffie. I feel like in that slot they have a lot of abilities that a lot of other guys can't match to, and I always try to take some tips from them.
Those guys that
2022, Antoine Winfield Jr. was in the slot. Did you ever get to watch a little bit of his game? What do you think of him as a player?
I didn't watch too much of his game. I knew him as a safety. I know he's a baller all around. I'll get around and watch this.
those younger guys that transferred in, like JQ and Jansen, how did you see those guys grow throughout the year last year?
I mean, it's night and day. You see them from January to this past January, right before I left. I mean, it's night and day of how much they've grown since being in the facilities. And it's just growing up and getting ready to eventually be starters in the SEC. And I think this next year, it's gonna take off. It's gonna show all the preparation they put in this past year.
Does it take longer for guys to learn the Brad White system because there are so many different calls and different zones that you all run?
It would take someone a lot more time, but if you put in that extra work where you're putting emphasis on learning it, it becomes a lot more easier. But I say it's harder than like some teams where just go out and play man. We're a really 3-4 zone team playing top down, so you got to learn a lot more different type of calls.
How can those guys use that last drive from the ball game when you all were out hurt? They were forced to action. It obviously didn't go the way you all wanted. How can they use that as kind of motivation moving forward?
I mean, it's always motivation. I mean, that game, if you go through the whole game, we were dominating the entire game. And at the end, they let some plays get away. We had let some plays get away. So use that as motivation. It's like you did the whole 3 quarters. It's just you got to put that fourth one together. So just knowing you got that, is put the extra at the end of each workout to finish each game. I mean, that's enough motivation to get the whole team going.
What makes you a good fit physically from the shoulders up and nickel back?
It's a lot of self-reflection. I feel like you can't be from head up in that nickel spot. You got to be able to tell what they're doing, be knowledgeable of the game, but at the same time be sound and be patient with who you are as a person. Because it's a lot faster. You got to use a lot more quicker, and you got to do a lot more.
How long did it take you to kind of get the middle side of it down to the point where you considered a day one starter and nickel in the NFL?
For me, when I started playing nickel, it felt just natural to me. I played corner the first 2 years at Kentucky. I never even played nickel. But when they put me at nickel my third year, it was just like natural. It was night and day. I feel like the way I had been preparing for the past years, it just fit me perfectly to go inside.
I know the 49ers, and that's a need for them. Have you met with them at all?
I had a formal with them on Monday or Tuesday.
What you come out of that meeting thinking?
It was a good meeting. I liked it. The coaches were really cool. I liked them. Professionals, and it's a great scheme, especially go and they've had success in it, and take it to the next level. If that's what you want to go do, put it to the next level and just put the pieces together.
Will you be participating in every workout?
Yes, sir.
What have you been told about, or maybe what advice you've been given about the transition from going to corner in college to corner in the pros? Just what are the differences in what you have to do? You feel like?
I mean, coming from the SEC, I'm gonna sit there and say it's really not. I feel like it's not that big of a difference because it's going to be a big difference at the end of the day. But you're going against a lot of good players in the SEC. Where going to the league is be an easy transition, but it's more about just being more consistent and using your help. Because that's really how you win these games.
Do you feel like the expectation is that corners have to come in and be ready day one, or is this a position where you think you can grow?
I feel like even if you do come in day one and they put you in, you still have to grow in certain ways. But it's a hard position to even go out there and play in the first place. So you just got to put in that extra time so you can be perfect at it.
Curiosity here.